The Grand Canyon was billions of years old. I'd like you to show you. The Grand Canyon was billions of years old on this date. Look at this. The Grand Canyon was billions of years old on this date. The Grand Canyon, billions of years. Have you ever seen anything as perfect as this? The Grand Canyon was billions of years when they first got this. Now it's right here. Now I got it. I'm actually kind of happy with this one because this is part of this really neat series of I tracked the Bible down, and this one printed while the Grand Canyon was billions of years where it shouldn't have been printed is actually kind of an in stop. Just put it like that, and this will look good with my collectives, but this is what I'm working from with the Grand Canyon being billions of years of ages. You can make up anything out of that. So, Grandpa Cena, you're pretty dumb with the 6,000 Year Earth Cult Legend website, a 6,000 Year Earth Cult book, a 6,000 Year Earth Cult teaching facility, a 6,000 year, that's not the age of the earth for the church in Rome, the 6,000 year earth, that's not the age of the earth for the church anywhere. And so now we're stuck with you. You can't accept reality that you're not supposed to have been born, really, is what I'm trying to outline to you. This is still right here. And this is now an antique. Came from a bomb shelter. You heard of those? And you probably forgot about it. And the children of Israel inquired the Lord, for the ark of the covenant of God was in those days. So this having come from a bomb shelter preparative. That's what this one was. This was actually a legitimate bomb shelter preparative. All of these, like this during this era, came with, oh, you're going to end up in a bomb shelter, and you're going to have to, we're going to have to reestablish everything after you come out like that, and hope that the Russians don't annihilate us back then, and make sure that you didn't die by now, and that's what this is. That's what this Bible was when it was printed. And that's the quality of this printing. Hell, you made it through the Cold War era. And it's more of a surprise that you did. Oh yeah, you could do that. It could accidentally happen, and you could do this. That's creative, by the way, and pretty fucking creative. Not willing to go back 20,000 years and learn where you shouldn't have been born at is the best way I can put it. And because we have 40,000 years of history, we had 40,000 years Earth history when we populated wherever we came from. We've always had billions of years Earth history. We've always had it. I can't work with the Bible because we've always had billions of years Earth history. Scary number? No. No, we've always had it. Trump has billions of dollars, on this for free. Same. And by the way, watch. They're both the same. Billions of years ago, you shouldn't have been born. Holy Bible. Because the Alps were 770 million years ago when it accidentally happened. This Holy Bible, prepared for your, we got it from a bomb shelter and we're still here on accident, presented, well, Dad, the Alps are still 770. When I, in 1992, came back from my mission trip and was required to come back with a verse that made sense, let me read it to you. Because I had already studied it from little lamb me because I learned how to write from this book, you dumb 6,000s. Dumb as boxes of rocks. You'll believe anything on it. There's a lot in it that's not there. It's a one. It's not a Jesus. This is, okay, Jesus is a story right here of this time stamping era. However, in the year 2021, it's a get rid of Jesus. We don't want Jesus. We don't want religion with Jesus. Stop the Bible and Jesus is in it. You wobbled him all over the place and he's not right here. And then you missed every word of it because you did that 6,000s. And having done that, the chronology for the events recorded in the book of Genesis cannot be established with absolute certainty. As I show, I'm going to rip your Bible out of your cult church. It's of antique, idiots. This is an antique. The Alps are still 770. There are still words and phrases in it. You're so dumb. The Bible, get rid of it, you idiots. Cult on the internet, we don't need you. We need to turn you off. Done with the Bible. Done with you. Done with religion. Done with the Pope's book. I'll move on to that next over the next 2 weeks. That's a good one. We've got to go back to do our rhymes, however, in the process. The chronology for the events recorded in the book of Genesis cannot be established with absolute certainty. In print, admitted, we're done. No conversation. Let me go give you some certainty. In print, Bible. That's certain. Same thing. Nobody's ever looked for. And since the author of Genesis did not suggest a date for creation, you then arrived at 6,000 because you were supposed to. The serpent was more subtle, and they misspelled that word. And Canaan begat Saddam on the firstborn, and had sites in the Amorite and the Gargasite. So in 1929, while the Alps were 770 million years, this still came out later. And the Avidite, while the Alps were 770 million, you still published this, and you shouldn't have. The Grand Canyon was old when this came out, and the Lord spake into Moses, and you forgot you published a book, and you shouldn't have been born with it published. Land of Egypt. Okay, so it being that you just shouldn't have been born, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, "You just shouldn't have been born." Sorry about it. Those little squirrely fucktards don't know how to give you a bad book in the United States. Let me help you out a little bit. In 1929, it was already polluted from 1859, 6,000, and in the year 1929, it went circa 1890s. I'm going to stick and reside, and then it got stuck. You've all seen how stupid 6,000 got stuck in the year. And 1859 turned it off because that's the Middle Ages, you idiots. And 1859 is 1537's stupidity, and then you got a book 1537's 1602 is you have a book with 27 books, turn it off at that. A 1611 you had a book with 80 books. I've only got 66 right here. And in the year 66, this without warning or labeling went to 66 books. And the Lord spake unto Moses in that John 1:18, you went out. It worked like that. The word became flesh. Now I have to tell you about it. Sorry. You're actually a scarecrow. You shouldn't have been born. It's as simple as that. Not with this thing right here. And not you having one ready for your casket. To be honest, it came from a bomb shelter. That's what they printed them for. And the sons of the prophets said unto Elisha, behold, the place where we dwell with thee is to wait for us. So in and out of these Neolithic bomb-sheltered areas where in the 40s you had cars and dope and fabric airplanes in the 30s. And William Thompson thought that the sun might be 20 million years also, and never think we could use that against the Alps, which are 770 million years old in the United States right now. Sort of. if on this internet, but you won't accept it over there with the billions-year-old Grand Canyon that explained itself with those. It's the same. The Grand Canyon, the Alps. What happened? Let me read about it. I'll tell you what happened. So, 4.543 billion years ago. Yes, not yours. 4.543 billion years ago. In the year when 4.543 billion years ago. Yeah, we're working with a lot of numbers. 4.543 or 4.544, or we just subtracted down. We actually came down from a little bit more. So we're working with, we had to move it around a lot. We actually subtracted down to arrive back downward at 4.543 billion from where, I don't care. And the 4.543 billion fits with the 4.543 billion, which I can hardly ever get correct. And that's just sun, moon, earth, 3. Yeah, so you're looking up at an old star, and you now with the billion-year-old moon, with the billion-year-old earth, you're not thinking about anything but the heavy apocryphatic English legend in my lap that I'm wasting my time waiting for you to die for me to read for you. Shrug your shoulder. And you don't have any words in it, correct? Sure. The chronology for the events can't be the era of the patriarchs is generally dated in the first half of the second millennium BC. Dudes. That's no da. What's the rest of the history after where you came from with the Simpsons and with Marge Simpson not doing as well as what's her name on the Flintstones? Yeah, Nancy Kerrigan slipped onto the ice and you grew up for a great ape who looked like her is really what it sounded like to me. You're so stupid now. And a tenable date for Abraham's migration is the early part of, so that's the when did man evolve writing figured out as a legend from 1859 at that, at best. When did the human race begin the use of legible authorship and scripting, idiot 6000s? In the year 3500 BC. Incompetent retard, you're in hell 6,500 years. You should not have been born 6,000. Cave paintings and Neolithics, Earth history. And you have it right there. You just shouldn't have been one. Because you can wander around. Oh, you lived in caves. No, you didn't. You don't live in caves, idiots. You stored a lot of stuff in caves, and you probably did. We did utilize them, but we weren't dragging around these big heavy clubs. We were brilliant. We're better and smarter than we are now. In the modern Amazonians, you can see them doing these amazing, better than your AK-47's rifling blowguns, which is 20,000 years ago technology you have today. And you evolved out of with. And somehow can't put two and two together that when we're doing this too and we're getting a monkey out of a tree, that meant the Earth's not 6,000 and we already knew it. So the era of the patriarchs is generally dated to the first half of the second millennium BC, and you've been getting that monkey out of trees with blowgun sense is really, and your Neolithics have eagles land on their arms. That one's pretty cool here on YouTube, and whereas some would date, yeah, don't even try. And it's wasted your time to have this book. The account of creation. Don't date it. Okay, so let me go grab some coffee, not having dated it, and we'll accept that in the year 2020, you just shouldn't have been born not knowing that the Alps were 770 million years when this was printed. But you kind of knew that. It's really, really difficult to see why you're so dumb, to be honest, when it's the same 6,000 year what? Your entire life. Every TV show has always told you that the Earth is not 6,000 years of age. Always. It's an off. That you were born, it was turned off at. There's never been 6,000 years of age. That you were born, it was an accident. And we have you now is even worse, and you can't see that the age of the Grand Canyon is beautiful. And that the Alps are for real now, 770. And the reality of them being 770 and you being millions and billions, and the Grand Canyon being billions, and the Australian Aboriginal being hundreds of thousands, and even closer to the time of the Cambrian explosion billions of years ago, that actually told you don't have a way to think out of it. When you're stuck, having it right here when you're told. The Alps are 770. We don't make that up. We do not make up the age of a 500,000 year mountain. Make up the billions of years underneath it that poofed out 20,000 years ago. We don't make that up either. We don't make up 200,000 years ago because we have a 9,200-year-old fossil. We don't make up my bones. Doctors don't make up my brain either. But you having one, they made up. Is about where I'm at. The White Cliffs of Dover are 136 million years. Into the year 1856, we had a 40,000-year-old fossil discovered, which provided that with Feldover 1 being 40,000 years ago, the Earth was not 6,000 years ago on any day ever. On 7/26/1996, when my daughter was born, I didn't tell her, and I did tell her. I actually told her, I'll teach you math later. And on these days, the Earth was not 6,000 years of age, and we already knew. And now you double your debt, Idiotville. 6,000. What? With the fossil history that your government can't use? You think we'll make up and help you out? No, we won't make that shit up. Get off the internet, retardville. We're real, you're not. You're a phantom stupid is what you are, 6,000-year idiot. Pope, you too. Fucking anyone with that book. You're a retard. Having it in print and being too dumb to get rid of it. You don't get rid of it by saying, hey, I think that the Earth is 6,000. I'll prove it using this. You don't get rid of it by saying, I don't think that the Earth is 6,000 and I'll prove it using this. You prove that the Alps are 770, which they are, by corroborating that the Australian continent had been populated before this book should have told you that it wasn't. And now that we've said we do not make up the age of a mountain, you shouldn't have been born refusing to accept and telling me that we just make up shit like a 500,000-year cone. And I'm explaining to you, you just shouldn't have been born after the year 1910. You're so stupid, dumb, dense, stuck. This You dumb dent stuck. You're stuck in the year 1905. Kind of right before and right as you got the automobile. And now you're $28 trillion in debt from the year 1929. Circa the 1890s. So as you go from your 1976's Legend of Jesus and you wobble up to your Great Ape stage with your bald skin all stupid, can't turn your off heads with the 500,000 year you don't want to believe in and a fossil history of a 40,000 years ago you shouldn't have been born at, and with your bald great ape stupid 6,000 year earth wobbling up to your stupid performance stages, I'm going to cut your balls off and explain to you your children you shouldn't have been born with is where I'm at. You're stuck in medieval, you're stuck in antique. Neither are for real, and you're stuck here in the year 2021 because you're too dumb to accept that 21 and we figured out that we're $28 million in debt and 6,000 years ago you just shouldn't have been born. You can't accept reality. Not with the 40,000 year shit to tell you to go die about. Don't die without a 9,200-year-old fossil preparatory for your dog's grave saying, sorry, I had you while the Alps were old. Idiot 6,000s. That's where you're at. You're too dumb to die. Reality. You think you're doing something correct? No, you should not have been born. You're an idiot. You're a moron. You're not 6,000 years of age. You're fucking stupid, and you don't have a brain cell. Is a small understatement of series of factual statements compared with 40,000 year fossil. How stupid you are now, and how long you've been stuck at the exact same. The 40,000 year fossil, your retardation, your brain cells you don't have, and 500,000 year cone, your 40,000 year fossil. So you made up that you should have been born. Telling me that we make up the age of geology. Yeah, I made up the age of the plant nearby also. Jesus is a false Messiah, idiots. He's an error timestamp. Very difficult to work with because you're still here. You can't accept reality. The authentic teams authenticate the authentic thing. Then you moved it and you got it wrong. You're still in 1611 forever having printed the Bible. And so let me take you through history. You're still right here, the stuck right there. And the New English Bible with the Apocryphatics, whether or not you like it, but the earth 6,000 years of age. So let's check this one out for that type thing. Oh, yeah. And so it's an antique. You shouldn't have been born with this because he wrote words and letters that are still right here. And the Bible New English Translation, they wrote words and letters that's still right here. That's good words and letters that you shouldn't have been born with. And the church, all of these voices shouldn't have been born with. So Ireland, where you have 136 million year war over, Church of England, where you held on to flying B-17s over there's when you thought about it. The Church of Scotland, where you got 4,000, and didn't compare very well with 1023, 4004 BC, so nothing got put right here. The Congregational Church in England and Wales, that's probably because they understood that. So place 4,000 on Wales, I suppose. The 1859 got over, we're up there, and it get to Finland, because Finland, we had brain cells and we knew that 4000 BC you can do math with. And the Council of the Church of Wales in Finland and in Germany, where we had it, and then Martin Luther described perfectly that 1929s, and now it's an antique and you're in hell at. That one that I keep talking and explaining these others, it's right. That one that I keep talking and explaining these others, it's right here. It's also an antique for me, as not this. So you were made from 136 million years over. You were born on accident. Oxford University Press. You shouldn't have been in the 1971. You published a book, and now I have to explain to you that there's not 6,000 years of age. You shouldn't have been born with this one. And the deaths of the you were born on accidents. 1961. Right there. That 1 year. 1961. Go to all of your authorship, and now in the second year, 1970. What just happened right there is your New Testament authorship. I can't turn Jesus off and get a cult off the internet is so atrociously stupid. Flat Earth, young or stupid will make up anything out of the Old Testament bullshit, including the talking snake's not in it. You shall not commit murder, or that word. And then Aaron lifted up his hands towards the people and pronounced the blessings for them. There's a talking snake in this, which happened to be the hyoid of Josephus's works, and he knew about Australia. Josephus, even in his work, authenticated, hey, 20,000 years ago, people with the hyoid were walking around. Josephus did, idiots. Josephus, he did. Jewish historian, 20,000 years ago, people were walking around. We have the hyoid. Josephus, not a, that's science. 20,000 years ago, you had the hyoid. 50,000 years ago, people, the fossils you are discovering that make sense with the 500,000 year cone of something, and the 9,200 year old fossil, and the 40,000 year fossil with the hyoid. And us, not a monkey without the, so 3,500 BC, a monkey without a hyoid. Fucking creative, huh? You have heard of those who broke the Sabbath. They shall be changed into detested of all fucking things. That's why you haven't died yet. Apes! 3 times. happened on Friday, happened on Saturday, happened on Sunday, and you missed them all. And then so the squirrely little fucktards who wrote a book, and they got Auschwitz, happened on Saturday, they were poofed into 1859's Great Apes. Now you don't have a book, but you only have a Legend of a Jesus guy in red letters that you shouldn't have been born with. How often is that man like a wisp of straw before the wind? Then there's poetry after that, and this apocryphatic. In thee, O Lord, I've taken refuge. Let me go and actually utilize the one that you say is not there. On that day, the Lord will punish on the way to Isaiah, proverb. The leech has two daughters. So let's go read the leech's two daughters. I know that they have a name and a place. So I'll return to Job just for fun because Shabbat and I'm bored and you haven't died yet. Okay. There has never yet arisen in Israel a prophet like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face. So what I've done is gathered that verse in every, and they're all English apocryphatic in legend format. What do you think we'll get? I can't write a book on that. I have to go to my website and learn about it. Hey, thanks for a book. After that, right. So after that verse, you were made from the 770 of the Alps. After that verse, you should not have been born. I don't have a book. After that verse, not having it preparatory for right here, you should not have been born. After that verse. So this being Moses' 120-year obituary that they had prepared for you of all fucking things. So the Israelites' time for mourning for Moses was ended. In Joshua's handwritten scribble, you fucked up, didn't have it properly noted. There was never yet arisen in Israel a prophet like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face. Joshua wrote that. Who rejected it? These scrolls 4Q377 placed in. Answer. Okay, remember all the signs and the portents which the Lord sent him to show Egypt in Dead Sea Scroll 4Q377. Let's go to my website. There's two of these, like this, a third, and then 200 accounts of this activity going on face to face, walking amongst them as Yeshua the Messiah ben Yosef with the hijab on, transported the Dead Sea Scrolls out of the second temple. Lilith, it was her fault. She was flying around 20,000 years ago, and she pushed an old fossil flea in a record up there and in over by the Neolithic communals of China, who were there 20,000 years ago. And we have a fossil record and good roads back then. We actually do aqueducting. How do you think you got to where you're at right now with what you have? Nothing has ever changed. It's kind of boring. So this being stuck right here at nothing has ever changed from 20,000 years ago. There has never yet in Israel a prophet like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face. So after the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord is not a prophet. Idiots. Moses is not a prophet. Jesus is a false Messiah at that. At this descriptive. When Jesus goes into red letters, Jesus is false. He became the 1602 legend right there when they printed this. Jesus. And it being that way, yes, because Joshua was actually Ben Yosef. I am Ben David. Jesus was neither. Because Jesus got antiqued out. And after the death of Moses, servant of the Lord, Jesus got antiqued out. The Lord said to Joshua, son of Nun, take your book out of print as assistant. My servant Moses is now dead. So write your face to face. Now it is for you to cross the Jordan, and this whole people of Israel now face to face to the land which I am giving them, face to face. You're go have fun. Don't know how to read a book. You're gonna get Auschwitz later. Have fun. Face to face. Is how that went down. As they exited, whatever that was, right here, I'll talk about that because this was. There's some Bibles with the time stamping, and then that's when this actually happened, and that's accurate. The magic moving of the earth is not, but the expulsion of the Garden of Eden is on the either. You can use either because we're here right now on accident war, but it's very very simple to track down. In 1809, it was at 1023, 4004 BC. Turned off, arrived at 6,000 on accident with 4,000 beings. Just you shrug your shoulders and say what's mentally ill with you, human evolution, you evolved writing, and the land which I'm giving them, you even evolved writing with this fucking book with printing, and I'm never going to go back and accept this medieval, and every place where you set foot, I'm never going to go back and accept you should have been born with where you're at right now, and I have given it you're not going to return to accept the Outsource 770 when you're born, and every place that you're not going to do that with the 500,000 year comb on the mountain, you're going to tell me they made it up and be left in Outlet. Moses, Euphrates, Hittite. So Hittite culture took care of that here on this internet, and it's not making up. This word is for real. So this was not only as getting out of hell with 120-year-old bitch where he's kind of born before that. And the Lord spoke to Moses, and the Moses is spoken on the ground. Now there was mixed company of strangers. Said to Moses, the Lord answered Moses, I shall not make idols for yourselves. Reject my statutes, land of their fruit. If you defy me and refuse to listen, I will multiply your calamities like the Ulster 770. Go have fun. And 7 times as you 770 million year old Alps now. Everyone with the 770 million year old up now. The Lord spoke to Moses on Mount Sinai with the 65,000 year presence of the Australian Aboriginal, and you were accidentally born. Joseph to speak to the Israelites in these words with an 1856 40,000 year fossil to turn it off at. With the man that sells it now, there's nothing in there that I explained it like that. And no, Nadab and so we read this as I explained. It's a Kabbalistic parable. You're stuck. They're all like that. You go in, you look for God, you unstitch everything, and you go, oh, Jesus, goodbye. And then all you have is a shell of God's not there. Jesus is a legend. At all. From any era, it was printed because that was their printing and sticking and sealing, which is why with us printing and typing that the Alps are 770, you think we're making it up because all of this, not your sermon and not how you're using it, is not what we're talking about. We're talking about you should not have been born with this. 6,000. And then rid of because it's now an antique and put it away. You're over $28 trillion in debts. The Alps are 770. Sell it and get that out of get that down. Do some jobs. You guys are worthless. You have no value. 6,000 has no value. Your Bible has no value to me. after underwriting it all, and you think it would have something of value after that. There is absolutely no, this has no value. It's only an antique to me. There's absolutely no value aside from saying you should not have been born with this in print. This has no value to me, cult on the internet who refuses to accept reality to try again. This has no value because you refuse to get off of the internet and take yours out of print and try again. There's nothing of value in this. There's nothing to teach other than that you're still there. At the four Gospels, when were each of those written down, and what do your interpreters tell you? Good luck. And that being all I had to do to shrug your shoulders in 1976 is a legend. I can't even work with the Bible because you're so dumb with it. I'm going to make up anything out of it. And I got good stuff. This is garbage. This is actually really good, poorly translated garbage. Nothing quite like the other garbage. But if you love me, you will keep my commandments, and I'll ask my Father, his name is Jehovah, and he will give you another helper that he may be with you forever. There were two verses that I'm taking the Bible out, collapsing as a cult with, and explaining to you. This is the spirit of truth. God and Moses spoke face to face. Jesus is a legend after that. When the world cannot receive him because he does not behold him or know him because it's not right here. And God and Moses spoke face to face. And those are the only connective unions that meant you shouldn't have been born with this. But you know him and he abides with you, and you still don't know that the Alps aren't being made up right now and will be when it'll be in you, but you're all in hell. I will not leave you, and I will come to you. After a little while, the world will behold me no more. Catch on. The world will behold me, Jesus, but you will behold me because I live. You shall live also. So he wandered away. They burned his body at Salsevich. They didn't murder this man. They crucified him no. Why you bought that? Medieval legend. They didn't crucify Jesus. He pissed people off that much. He transported the Dead Sea Scrolls out of the Second Temple, and we're done with that. Okay. And he shall be loved by my Father, because he actually kept record of 4Q377 into Deuteronomy 34:10 and Exodus 33:11. Jesus. I'm going to sit there and see every word of this thing that's in all of this came out later is what it was. Every word of this. Jesus is the legend of this. He authored this, and then he had 100% of author control over what became this later. So that's why I give this a little bit of credit for not deviating too far, like you did with the New American King James Version, the New King James Version. That's a piece of garbage. I hate working with this one. This was okay to type while with my dog on my lap, promising him that I'll take it out of print with the Alps being 770, though, however. And Judas, not as scary. I promised my dog we'd take your dog Bible out of print until you were in hell, because the Australian Aboriginal had been there 65,000 years ago. That showed up and said to him, Lord, that was Jehovah who made that up. And so in 1976, you just shouldn't have been born. And Jesus answered and said to him, if anyone loves me, he will keep my word. So in 1859, the word was a legend. And then in 1859, the word became a legend, turned off in 1891. Now in antique, 100% of it gold. Nothing I can do, because it's not of a question. This was printed. The Alps are 770. You are mentally ill, refusing to accept that the Alps are 770. The Grand Canyon in the United States is billions of years old. We do need to collapse you as a cult. Questions.org. We do need to make reparations for the such as the Australians that have been here, because even in spite of things such as this, and you've mushroomed up. You've gotten so much doubly worse. From the year 2000, you were okay. To go back to about 96 and figure it out real quick, serious. But you got here, and then when the Supreme Court did the homosexual union, it immediately because you did that in your country in English with billions of years underneath. The homosexuality in the United States. I'm saying straighten up your lips. Yeah, we have what we have, and it's just what you have. And it's now actually, I like what I've seen. Get the will out of it, and I like what I've seen. I have no problem with it. The queer drag queen fags, they have their own thing, and I don't care right now because that's over there. And I wouldn't hurt them, and I used to live in San Francisco Bay. I walked in the gay pride parade once as an example. What is human evolution if 6,000 years isn't something you can look at your congregation, admit the mountain I came in back behind me was old. The Grand Canyon in the country I'm representing is billions. And the best you got is I can't get you off the internet. And you can't, and you're unwilling to accept that the Australian people, real people, can be confirmed by fossil history. That is pathetically shameful for a Christian when everything is in the science of the fossil history. 9,200-year-old fossil, 40,000-year fossil, weird thing to take care of now. Now you got this at antique. Weird thing to take care of because it got small like this. You kept going, oh no, you shouldn't have published the book. Why'd you do that? And then, so a compendium, this one shouldn't have been published. This one should have been prepared for your casket. Yeah. And so that's a little addendum to where you ended up with. And this one it should have been, it was printed perfectly. This one is a good. I love this printing. It has the numerical coding. You forgot about by circa the 1890s, I guess, and you didn't put it in that one over there. And you also did not put it in the 1959, or the 1859, so you lost track of it. And it's not in here either. So I'll just pencil it in right here, you're in hell. And he said unto them, go, and when they came out, they went into the herd of swine, and behold, the herd of swine ran violently down to a steep place into the sea. So the Alps being 770, you being in hell, and you should not have been born with this. Ye do the deeds of your father. The Alps are still 770. The Grand Canyon is still billions of years. You still should not have been born, and was in the hinder part of the ship asleep. The Alps are still 770. The Grand Canyon is still billions of years, and you still should not have been born. So yeah, that was a good one. And then Paul took them in. The Alps are still 770. In 1976, Saul changed his name to Paul. You didn't catch up with. He actually changed his name in the book of Galatians. Saul, he's a good guy, and he really fucks you over. He helped form. He worked with Barnabas and Titus. Struck your shoulders. It's the Bible. That one. This one. What do you think you're going to get out of it? Martin Luther scribed this or not and got it correct in German. Did he? Did you check the one that got into finish? I did, and so you didn't. And the you didn't. Jesus went from there and departed into the borders of Tyre and Sidon, into 1859 legend, into 1891 legend. Turn off it for me. Explaining to you 1929 is year in hell, and with this book still, and that I may take the house of Israel and known. So here, as I take 6,000 years, well, so where you really went wrong at in all your authorship, are you having lost track of having been made from the 136 million year White Cliffs of Dover, and having bred with something likely made out of the billions years of Grand Canyon, and not noticing that something nearby also bred with something that was scraped out of the trillions of years old, wasn't quite there yet. C.I. Schofield wasn't quite there yet. Editorial committee of the new edition, and Oxford. When you understand that in the year 1936 and 1967, the Grand Canyon was actually billions of years, so we kind of knew that, or you probably wouldn't have been able to start your car. Take it simple. Take it simple. Be real about it. And so take them all out of print as I continue to waste my life waiting for you to do it yourself and read yours. And become John 14:15. Let's go check it out. I'll go back to this one. I enjoy typing this one with my dog in my lap, romancing. I do that for the Age of the Alps while I visited the authorship. Luke, date 60. So in this little, I did that and they made it all up in this one. A close friend. And then it became a pretty good legend after that. Inasmuch as many have undertaken to compile an account of things accomplished among us. So right here where it says date 60s, when was the book of Matthew written? When was the book of Luke written? This is a fucking doctor. Yeah, goodbye. Okay, so the Alps are 770 now, and the Australian Aboriginal have been there for longer than 6,000 years of age, and that was written by a doctor. Goodbye. Is kind of what that meant. And still you should not have been born, and if you must know the truth, and when we work from reality of what's right here. And so I haven't been born with this is one of my favorites that I was adopted into. Canst thou draw out the Leviathan and teach the pastor of the mountain rider that I did not fail my test at school at putting 6,000 on? However, I learned at school to take care of the Alps. Moreover, had made me an altar of brass, 20 cubits, the length chest of 20 cubits in breadth thereof and 10 cubits height thereof. So with 770 Alps, I'm not making it up. However, nothing in here. Slept with his fathers. Then the people of Israel divided into two parts with the 770 Alps. David offered the burnt offerings with the trillions of years old Grand Canyon. David sent messengers with the billions of years moon. And the Philistines took the ark, so it's a hard thing to think about, but I got a picture right here to explain how I was able to think my way out of it. And then words and phrases you shouldn't have been born with. You've seen such as, and when the voice of the trumpet sounded long and waxed louder, and the Lord's Moses spake, and God answered him by a voice. No one's ever seen God. No, Moses spake and God answered him by a voice. Little walkie-talkie thing because he was standing right there. Great, yeah, you're not dead yet. You followed a legend from 1859. Great Ape Rubber, yeah, you're not dead yet. Is really the end of that one. And Great Ape Rubber, yeah, you're not dead yet, as you should have been born with this one in print as a human. And you go back to the zoo if you can't figure out the ape part.